Alright, hello everyone, this is Krotic giving you a shoutcast in a game between QIMNesTea versus SlayersBoxer here on Shakura's Plateau. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I cast these games out of order. After a while, for some reason, the games weren't uploaded in order or something was happening with them, and I couldn't see the full title name, and things like this happened. So my apologies already. If this is a best of 3 series, then obviously one particular player will win. If it is not a best of 3, then the other player will win. But then again, that's always the case, isn't it? So let's get this game underway. Once again, I apologize, and I could recast them all, but then I would have already seen the games, and trying to make predictions in a game you've already seen just seems a little like cheating, like getting the answers to a test before you get those, before you actually take a look. Anyways, let's get into this game. MLG, or before you actually take the test. MLG spawning as the blue Zerg on the top left-hand side of the map. And this is Shakura's Plateau. It is going to be a rather large map, as Boxer does his customary, I'm going to hide a barracks in plain sight so you don't know what's going on. Placing a barracks down over here, as there's also a supply depot here. Now, if the Overlord was flying perhaps over here, it would not even spot the barracks. MLG is not going to know where his opponent is, but it looks like he's going to be going for a fast hatchery anyways. Now, Shakura's Plateau is a rather large map, but it's also a map that you can split east and west. I would have to say that it's probably a map that favors Terran a little bit more into using Marines and Siege Tanks, as long as they're able to do a slow push and then get to Ghosts, and Tier 3, they are very, very effective. However, Mutalisks on this map are very, very powerful as well, as we now see a double barracks being placed down here. Okay, so Boxer going for an early double racks, not going for any crazy command center, expansion play, and now going to be starting to scout out with this SCV. The SCV is not going to see any of those barracks over there. Yeah, you can see that the line of sight is blocked right there. SCV going to come up around the corner, pretty much see nothing here, and then continue on his merry way over here. Spawning pool is about halfway done. Zerglings will be added, Queens will be added, no gas as of yet, as MLG needs to get that metabolic boost, as we are going to have a very, very early army now making its way out. The drone, what is the drone doing? The drone is perhaps looking for any barracks, as a Marine is already in position here. A Marine gonna battle it out. A drone may get taken down to 5 hit points. There it goes. 2 Marines, or sorry, 2 SCVs and a Marine engaging off over here, as this SCV needs to figure out what it wants to do. A second bunker now being established, as the drones are now going to be going after the SCVs. One Marine needs to try to run away, as a second Marine now reinforces, and the double bunker may actually work out really well, as a third Marine joins in on the fight as well. One drone going to get taken down, and you got to remember, with this many drones off of the mineral line, that is lost resources still. 1 drone, 2 drones get taken down, and now what is going to happen here, as it looks like the Zerglings, no, it looks like this one bunker will be completed. No, canceled. This one is going to get salvaged, as this is going to force MLG into a very, very heavy defensive play. 19 SCVs versus 14 drones. There are a lot of Zerglings in the field. 1 SCV will be able to return and retreat back home, as the barracks are now going to be trying to create a wall off here. So Boxer, after getting into a double racks, now going into a command center, he's going to be a little bit behind in terms of the economic game, as we are now 18 to 21. But by the time that this command center is done, I expect MLG to be somewhere in the realm of 28 or 29 drones, as that is very, very powerful. But MLG is also getting a spine crawler into play as well. We'll see what he's going to be doing. He has a lot of Zerglings sitting out over here, and he needs to make sure that his opponent isn't going to follow this up with even more Marines. He needs to be careful with those drones and how much he drones up, and it looks like he is even leaving some food cap just in case, for that very specific reason. Now sitting at 35 over 36. Second queen is being trained up, or first queen is being trained up back at home at the main base. As you can see, there's not many drones off over here, so I take it back, because MLG didn't have another queen back at home. He's actually going to end up falling behind, and even fall further behind, as Boxer is now establishing his 3rd command center. He will be able to float that up into position, and now we are at 25 SCVs versus 26 drones, and those mules are definitely helping out the Terran Boxer here. Zerglings now still in midfield. We are going into a reactor. I don't see a factory as of yet, so this is just going to be your straight up Marines with combat shield and a lot of Marines, especially with that reactor there. Overlord in this position here knows exactly where his opponent has spawned. A Zergling now down on the low ground. But Boxer should be able to surpass his opponent in just a moment. Even though you see MLG at 37 drones, we have 2 mules for Boxer. Production tab still shows 5 more drones being trained up. MLG droning hard now after this, and now with a 40 drone to 29 SCV advantage, should be able to start macroing up a decent sized army right behind this. Marines are now splitting up, but that's going to be bad news, as the Zerglings could have perhaps surrounded that there. Marines had taken control of the center Zelnaga towers. More Marines still being trained. Boxer looking to get even more units here in just a moment, as this is going to be another orbital command in just a moment, and 1 orbital command translates to about 6 workers. And this is very important for Boxer. Boxer needs to at least feign pressure, otherwise MLG is not going to be training up any Zerglings and only going mass drones. More and more Zerglings are being trained up. We are most likely going to be going into a Baneling's Nest soon, as there are a lot of Zerglings in the field, and we are about to get metabolic boost. That is important as well. We are not yet teching the tier 2. We are going for a macro hatch in the main base. A creep tumor quickly gets shot down here. The Zerglings do have speed, as the siege tanks are now finally being added to the army. And what is Boxer going to do behind this? He needs to get more supply depots. He cannot let his macro slip. 3 barracks are currently not doing or not building up anything at all. Instead, he's going into an engineering bay, getting medevacs, and trying to increase his production even further for when he does lift off this orbital command and try to establish up a new base. Marines just still patrolling in the center. We are going into heavy roach play. And this roach play actually concerns me a little. The Marines with those siege tanks should be able to blast apart all of those roaches. And without any banelings, those Marines are simply going to pretty much go unchallenged. A medevac with 1 siege tank inside. We'll see where that siege tank does get established and where it will go. Perhaps lifting off an elevator dropping here, being able to attack this position and then retreat. The Marines do not have stim though, so that would mean even better if there were actually banelings on the field, as banelings on creep do move faster. Siege tank will most likely siege here in just a moment, and this is going to look very, very good. Now just unloading the Marines here on this high ground, and now just trying to elevator drop even more of those units, and now going to elevator drop onto the high ground here as the Marines are unloading. There are roaches here battling out. The siege tank is going to be forced to pull back. It looks like it's not going to take any damage, and the siege tank now being a little bit more cautious, going to pull itself back and make sure that the Marines are going to be able to engage. And then if the roaches try to engage, they will get taken down. More Marines coming back over here. Another elevator drop coming in. And there you go. It is going to be 15 Marines on the high ground up against 12 roaches. But there is 1 siege tank in this group, and the Marines do have that combat shield. Marines now trying to engage. The Marines need to back off here. The siege tank just outside of range, just in range now. And Boxer looking a little bit sloppy in this group. He needs a second siege tank as the Marines are trying to engage here. This siege tank just a little bit too far away as more spine crawlers are coming into position. The siege tank is not getting in. Oh, there's a shot there, getting in 2 quick kills. And now just trying to maximize their damage further. This one command center has not been lifted off. 60 SCVs versus 48. So if it does turn into a long-term macro game, Boxer will come out ahead. He does have more food, and he is forcing his opponent to really train up a lot more units than he would like. 57 Zerglings and 9 roaches, as the siege tanks are still being trained up back at home. So Boxer not relenting in his macro, training up more units back at home, and this may actually work out well for him. Siege tanks now getting picked up. It looks like the Zerglings are going to try to do a little bit of preliminary scouting well before the Marines come in within range. The Marines are upgraded 1-0, but they are going up against 1-1 Zerglings, as we are now also getting a sensor tower. Marines now about to push their way forward here. Siege tanks in position here. And Boxer with very, very deep siege tank spread, just in case there are a lot of banelings, to make sure that the siege tanks do not splash on top of each other and that the Marines have a little bit more room to maneuver around. You can see Mutalisks are coming in along the north. There are no missile turrets, so Boxer may be in a world of hurt. No missile turrets, one missile turret at the main base, no missile turrets here. Mutalisks are going to be able to fly in here and get in a lot of easy kills now. All the SCVs are running. SCVs are now being transferred down over here. Missile turrets are being established in the center as the SCVs are now going to run straight next to a missile turret and finally be protected. Marines now coming back over, getting in some easy shots on those Mutalisks, as I believe missile turrets will be established and fortified here. But Boxer already with a large group of units in the center portion of the map. He still has a nice harvester advantage of about 5, and that this is without mules. 2 additional missile turrets now being added. More siege tanks going to be trained up, and double producing siege tanks now should help him out tremendously in the long run. A bunker, an empty bunker off over here. We are perhaps going to get more and more SCVs just continuing to mine away at the center as the missile turrets realize that they cannot engage, or sorry, the Mutalisks cannot engage because of those missile turrets and those Marines. SCVs are not on auto repair. Perhaps leaving 1 or 2 on auto repair would be very beneficial as the medevac finishes healing up all of these SCVs here, and now we're going to get an even larger army in the center. Marines sitting inside a medevac, not quite sure what's going on here as the siege tanks continue to push their way forward, and now going to clean up a lot of these creep tumors here. One creep tumor, 2 creep tumors, 3, 4 creep tumors have been destroyed, so this entire creep highway will fall apart in just a moment. And now in comes the counterattack here. Siege tanks and Marines, both sides engaging. The siege tanks are not covering each other all too well, but this is not as good against roaches, but still going to be able to deal a lot of damage as the Mutalisks are now coming in. More units coming in to reinforce, though, as the roaches are going to get pushed back, I believe, as the Marines are slowly inching their way forward. The Marines do have stim. Zergling's going to cause a little bit of splash damage there as the siege tanks now taking their time to move forward. Production tab shows more Zerglings being added. The Infestor doesn't have enough for a fungal growth. Siege tanks once again will re-siege. Some Infestors may get caught in transit, but they are able to get off a fungal growth before it gets taken down. Another Infestor not so lucky, as now the units and the army is split in half. This one's roach will get destroyed, and now a push up onto the main base. MLG will lose this queen here, and a couple Zerglings as well. Another Infestor gets taken down and just misrallying. Another Infestor gets off a fungal growth before any more damage is dealt, and there it is. And it looks like this was either game 1 or game 2 in the best of 3 series. And my apologies, Boxer able to take 1 game in this best of 3, but ultimately losing to MLG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.